This is TVC News at 7, reaching you live from our headquarters here in Lagos. We begin from Sierra Leone, where voters will head to the polls to elect their next president tomorrow, Saturday. This is the fifth presidential election since the civil war ended in 2002. Sierra Leone has seen waves of violence in recent months. Last year, there were deadly anti-government protests over rising cost of living and economic hardship. According to a spokesperson for the Electoral Commission, around 52.4% of registered voters are aged between 18 and 35 years old. Voters will choose between incumbent President Julius Maada Bio of the Sierra Leone People's Party and Sumura Kamara, leader of main opposition party, the All People's Congress. In a joint statement by the ECOWAS and AU missions, there are concerns over violence and intimidation reported in some parts of the country. They want that the incident could mar the peaceful conduct of the elections. The mission met with 13 presidential candidates and called on all political stakeholders to do their part toward ensuring a peaceful electoral process in line with national, regional, and international standards. And joining me on the news at 7 to further discuss the Sierra Leone election and the economic woes is global affairs analyst Paul Ejime. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
So I understand you were a member of the ECOWAS observer team or observation team in 2018, and you're also now a part of that team on ground in Sierra Leone. Between 2018 and now, how far would you say Sierra Leone has come in its democracy, especially after the civil war?
Well, as you said in your introduction, this is the fifth election, the electoral cycle after that war of 1991 to 2002. And 5 years is a long time, but it's also a short time in the life of a nation. The SLPP, the Sierra Leone People's Party of President Julius Maada Bio defeated the same man of APC that he's running against in 2018 when President Kuruma handed power. So APC was in government but lost to SLPP. And now the contest remains tense. These are the two dominant political powers. They have shared, alternative power twice, relatively peacefully. But in the run-up to this election, there have been skirmishes because the country appears polarized, regionalized, and then there is ethnic tendency, and then the role of the social media. There's one blogger based in Netherlands who is causing, sending some incendiary messages, and they're trying to radicalize the youth. So there have been these incidents of violence and intimidation. And so the APC is making complaints against the Electoral Commission and then the security forces. But this is not new in politics. When in 2018, it was the SLPP that was also making the same allegations. But there are issues. Economically, Sierra Leone is a very young, population.
I will get to those issues. I'll get to those issues in just a moment, Mr. Ejime, because I want to glean as much as I can from you, because you are on ground there. There are concerns from the opposition about the electoral umpire. That they say that, look, he was put there by the incumbent president, and so they're questioning the credibility of the process. So what have you seen and heard in that regard?
Yes, almost all the international observers, the AU, the ECOWAS, EU, Qatar Foundation, and then there is also the ECOWAS Council of the Wise, Commonwealth. they are all here, and they are making the same findings that there are skirmishes, all be it isolated, but if not nipped in the bud. They said AU and ECOWAS came out with a statement that if this is not arrested, that it could mar the peaceful conduct of the election. So that is what there have been. APC has complained about the burning of its headquarters in Bo in the Eastern District, the stronghold of the ruling party, SLPP. And then they have also complained about the voters register and then the tabulation of results. They want everything done electronically, but the Electoral Commission is saying that they are doing a hybrid of, using electronic and manual, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the, but you wonder, why are they, that have also been called out by the opposition for, protests. But the Electoral Commission says that the problem is with the APC because they had an interim leadership that handed over power to, elected officials. And they are saying that they had addressed, that is the Electoral Commission, said that the issues that they had addressed already with the interim leadership of the APC, that the new leadership is now going back on them. Because we wonder, days to the election, is that when they are going to, they're even asking for the audits of the electoral voters register. And so this demands things that you thought they would have handled, but there is they signed up to what you call the peace pledge, all the candidates, and then there is also the political party regulations commission, there is the peace commission, and cohesion of national cohesion. They are all working to get everybody on board so that this election will pass up, very peacefully. But there are, there is tension, but there is the appeal from ECOWAS and all the international
and we are hoping that
de-escalation of the tension.
And we're hoping that, everyone, all stakeholders will heed that appeal coming from ECOWAS and the AU. I'm sure that we will speak to you more often as this election commences tomorrow. Thank you so much for talking to us, as always. International Affairs Analyst Paul Ejime.